Well, with me now in the studio is Stephen Kuhn. He's a businessman, a former American soldier in Iraq. He lives in Germany now, and he is a Trump supporter. Stephen, it's good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Brett.
What did you make of the speech?
I thought the speech was along the lines of what I expected of President Trump. I think expecting him to be a different person suddenly is unrealistic and also not genuine. I think that's the whole attraction with the Trump supporters, with the movement, is that he's a genuine kind of guy, be it good or bad, how one understands it.
So you didn't think it was genuine, the speech?
No, I thought it was genuine.
You thought it was genuine. Okay, well, let me ask you, what about the notion of carnage?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? What carnage is he talking about?
Well, as you know, in the States, we like to micro-organize everything and micro-focus on one certain issue. He's probably talking about inner cities, and at this point where there's a lot of social discord and there's a lot of disagreement about how schools should be run, if charter schools should be allowed, things like that. And I think that he was focusing on those kind of, say, we're going to help you, we're going to pull you out of that, we're going to help you get there.
For example, crime. Crime
right.
is, at record lows across the U.S., despite what you hear about Chicago. Nationwide, it's low. But when you hear the word carnage, it makes you think that there must be something terrible going on. I mean, isn't that the double speak that Donald Trump is accused of all the time?
For him, I honestly think it's just how he speaks. I think he believes that is carnage. I mean, from his point of view, that is carnage. Let's look at, he could be talking about carnage in the school system. He could be talking about carnage in the economy. He could be talking about carnage in the inner cities. I think it's really tough to microanalyze what he said because it was 15 minutes.
No, it was a bunch of tweets, actually, wasn't it? I mean, I've heard some people say that it was like one tweet after another, and he actually tweeted parts of the speech as well. So it fit that. We've got a soundbite from that speech. I want to take a listen to that and then get your reaction to it. Let's take a listen.
Has very special meaning because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people.
Again, what does that mean exactly?
It means that the people in America felt disconnected from the politicians in D.C., meaning that now there'll be a closer connection, there'll be more involvement, maybe with the senators and the congressmen, but in the end, he'll be talking directly to the people.
He may be, but I mean, Washington is more than just the president.
Obviously.
It's also his cabinet. His cabinet, these are all big business. These are all insiders. These are not outsiders. These are not the people that you get when you drain the swamp. These are the people in the swamp.
But most of them weren't politically active, weren't in the cabinet, weren't anywhere near this kind of situation before.
Now, they're all very wealthy, for example, Stephen. I mean, and the people who voted for him, if we look in those key states, are people who were unemployed, they're lower class. These are not wealthy people. So
I voted for him.
Well, okay, yeah, but the people in the swing states, for example.
Okay, I got you.
Those are people, and it's those angry voters that he always mentioned, and they're not rich. So how are their lives reflected in what's moving in with President Trump?
Well, look, I think if you look at the classic disgruntled American who voted for Trump, that's the way they like to describe his movement. Then you have the third of the voters that were actually private voters that said, "Oh, I'm not voting for Trump," but they actually did because they're shamed. They're shamed into not allowed to say, "I voted for President Trump." But I think looking at the cabinet, we have some pretty astonishing people there. I mean, Ben Carson, looking at Mad Dog, as a military man, Secretary of Defense, I can't imagine a better person.
Does it worry you that a lot of his appointments have, in their congressional hearings, have openly disagreed with Trump's positions on things, such as Russia?
No, and exactly that is what is exciting.
How
a good leader, because a good leader surrounds himself with people who are good in the single positions that they are in charge of. And President Trump will remain the generalist. And hopefully, the people around him, and we're looking at, so far, I'm optimistic, he'll have specialists in each area. And they as well will have specialists in area on their teams. And that's how good leaders work. That's how good businesses work.
There were there were 3 former presidents, as well as President Obama, sitting behind him today when he delivered that speech. He presented a very dark picture, a picture of failure of leadership in America with 4 presidents behind him. How do you think, well, first of all, do you think that was a correct picture that he offered? And what about the respect of the office when you've got 4 presidents sitting behind you and you're talking about carnage?
Let's look at the two questions.
Yeah.
The first question, the picture he presented is the picture that's been being presented while he was running. So I don't see any difference there. It is a mixed up country. We are separated more than we've been in many, many, many years. We are at heads, so to say, you know, and this has to stop. We need commonality. We need to see commonality. Now, I feel hard. It's hard for me to say if it was right or wrong what he did. It was crass for me to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I personally could have done that, but I'm not standing there. So his whole mission is always communicated very, very simple and very plain to understand. But what's actually happening is much more complex.
It's much more complicated,
Right.
like the real world.
Right.
All right. Stephen Kuhn, thank you very much. Appreciate you being on the show. We'll talk with you a little bit later on the day as well. Thank you.
Pleasure.